Hi, I'm Shelley Aubrey-Stedman from WOWbella Studios. I'm based in Tring in Hertfordshire, and what I wanted to do is to start doing a few videos, tutorials, or just information videos just to help some of my clients. I offer a lot of cosmetic tattooing, which I thoroughly enjoy. However, I feel that I have a huge amount of ladies. They come to me and they say, I've overplucked, what can I do? Can you fix this? Well, obviously, yes, I can fix this for them. However, it would be fantastic if they wasn't in that situation in the first place. So, today, one of the questions somebody asked was, how do I measure my brows? How do I mark my brows and shape them? So, this little video is just about shaping your brows. I'm going to show you what I do, what I use to shape my brows on a daily basis. So as you can see here, anyway, I have one brow that is penciled and the other brow is just a naked brow, we'll call it, my naked brow. I'm quite lucky actually. I mean, I go training quite often in the mornings, and I go and I don't wear makeup because it's 6:30 in the morning and I feel that I'm not going to bump into anyone. But as the mornings get lighter, it's not always great to go out without any makeup at all, especially if you don't have eyebrows. You can look a little bit odd sometimes. So I'm quite lucky because I do have some brows there. They're just a little bit sparse. I'd like them to be a bit fuller, but can't have everything, I suppose. So what I'm going to do is share with you guys today just how you can mark your brows and shape them nicely. There's some little tricks to this. So firstly, what you're going to need is a brow pencil. This is what I use. I tend to use pencil. However, some people use a powder like this one. I don't use this. In fact, my daughter uses this. She's always stealing my makeup. The joys of teenage daughters. You need a straight edge. So just using one of my makeup brushes here, you can just get your straight edge to measure and to mark. That's absolutely fine. Probably shouldn't have it tapered like this, to be honest with you. Something that's, you know, just very level the whole way would be far better. However, I've got a very good little gadget here, and you could, I'm sure, find these and buy these online. You could Google it. This is actually called an eyebrow tracer. Here we are, eyebrow tracer. It comes actually, I've got a whole bunch of little gadgets here. It comes with a little pencil with it, but it's more of a purple colour. It's actually for cosmetic tattooing, to be honest with you. But if you're wanting to actually shape your brows, it is a fantastic tool to use because it's very simple to use. And I'll just quickly run through how to use that. And I tend to use a different technique, which I'll show you afterwards. So what you do is you take your brow tracer and you place it to the side of your nose. Put a mark in here. You come out to the outside of your eye, you mark here, you come down to the outside corner of where your ear is, and that is your mark for your peak of your brow, because you want a start, an end, and where you peak. So that's the basics of what you need to achieve, is to find those three markings. What I tend to do though is slightly different from what I've just shown you, but it does exactly the same. I'm just a bit lazy to use this, and I just find this way a little bit quicker, which is fine. Okay, so again, we're starting from the outside edge of our nostril and coming straight up, and we're marking here. That's where you start. You come across from the edge of the nostril again, and you come to the outside corner of your eye, straight up, and you mark. Very tricky to actually do this when I'm in a camera trying to work, but fantastic. Okay, and now what we do is now we come from, and this really will be the tricky bit actually, because you come from the outside edge of the nose again. However, you want to be looking directly ahead. Now, when I mark onto my customers before they're having tattooing, I always say to them, just look directly at me, straight in the centre. And I get people to actually focus on me. Obviously, not standing too close, their eyes will be crossing, but just so they're looking central at me, because what we want to now do is go from the outside of the nostril to the outside of the pupil. So that outside edge, and then make your mark. So you now have your markings that you need, your start, your peak and your end. And that's really important, because then what we can do now, let's grab my mirror because I can't see. So what we can actually do now is start to build up with your brow pencil. Now if your brows are slightly too long and you have a few little brows, they're just in your way, what you can actually do is just brush up. I don't usually need to do this, but I know some people do. Just brush up. Haven't got any scissors next to me. You can just get some stalk scissors or a small pair of nail scissors and just actually run along that edge, just to trim any that are too long, if that so happens. Doesn't always, you know, but I know that it can do with some people. So I'm going to look into my mirror now to actually do this. I know it's a bit of a pain, but I really can't work in the lens, but hopefully you'll still be able to see this. So I like my bulb to be a little squarer here, but I like to round it at the top. I don't like too much of a square look. And actually, I do tend to kind of refuse that look if someone wants a very square bulb when they come into the studio for tattooing. I just feel that if I'm tattooing onto somebody, okay, they're semi-permanent pigments, you're going to need them topping up every 1 to 2 years, fine. Some people though, pigments really grip into people's skin and it could be there for 5 or 6 years. And to have a square bulb, it's something that's going to go out of fashion or be, you know, or already is really out of fashion. So therefore I tend not to actually offer that. If you want it though, for a night out, just pencil it in. It's, you know, it's no big deal. So once you've got your shape, it's fantastic because you can just add to it. So here we go then. So what I'm going to do for everyday use, just on your school run or whatever, when you get up and you do your makeup routine, this is what I tend to do. And this is just a very light, feathery edge to it. So we're not pressing hard, we're barely touching at all. Just coming across, up into the bulb. To the outside edge again. We're coming into the peak, and then we'll start coming down from the peak. And that is where you would end. Okay, so as you can see there, it's quite light in comparison to the other one. This is what I'm going to show you next. So what I'll just do is now, because obviously I've got my markings and I've actually gone up to my markings. Obviously I don't want this square, so there was a little bit sticking up there. I'll just remove that. Just round off these edges nicely and just remove my little extra markings there. And that is just something that I'll do for just everyday use, just to run through my brows, just to elaborate on them really, so it doesn't look like I've got absolutely nothing. Not too much of a heavy look, but that's what I tend to do. Now if my husband ever offered to take me out to dinner, hope he watches this film, then I would actually go a little bit heavier with the makeup, possibly if I was going for a night out, or you know, if I was just out with the girls or whatever. So I'm just gonna show you how you do that. Really, it's just about being not particularly heavier with your pencil, but just going over the areas until you get the effect that you actually want. So here we go again. I'm going to have to use the mirror again, sorry. I tend to actually, when I start this look, is run along the bottom so I get a lovely straight edge in this direction, because I'm doing a slightly more of a blocked look anyway. So I just feel that it doesn't really matter about feathery lines so much. So there we go, just running along the bottom. coming up into the peak. So always make sure you're nice and crisp. You've got this crisp line. Along the edge. And then you're coming down again to your tip where your marking was. I'm just going over slightly. So, and if you go over, you can just tidy up again. Just use a cotton wool stick. Cotton wool bud, I should say. Not sure what cotton wool stick is. Just to really tidy up where necessary and where you need to. And there you have that finished look. Now if you wanted to go one step further with that and you really wanted to highlight the brow, what you can do, what I've got here is, where are we? I've just got a eyeshadow that I use. And what you can do is just use a nice kind of thin brush there. I've got some on it already. And then just use the edge of that brush and you can just highlight just under to make that line extra crisp where you need to. Obviously it's far easier when you're doing it and you're not trying to do it in a camera, because you can take your time and get it absolutely perfect. But that is the general idea of how to shape the brows. So you need to always start with where you're going to start, where you're going to peak and where you're going to end. And using this method, this technique, it will really help you to actually achieve the look that you want. It's all preference as to how thick you want your brows and that type of thing. If you want a rounded bulb, if you want it rounded underneath, all of those things are preference. But for me personally, I really would stress to you that you must really get the 3 points kind of where they needed to be. Obviously if you're out by a couple of mils because you prefer it to be slightly shorter, or if you like it slightly longer, absolutely fine. As long as you keep to it within a couple of mils, it shouldn't be a problem at all. Okay, so I hope that answered my lady's question. And I hope it's been of some interest and some help to you, and help you to actually shape your brows. If you're interested in having cosmetic tattooing, you can achieve a very, very similar look. You can have a block look, or you can use microblading, which is absolutely fantastic. We're getting some great results with that because it's a very natural look and it's just tiny hair strokes added. It gives you your shape, and if you wanted to go out for a night out and you wanted to block them in, you've already got the shape there, just to pencil over lightly to give you a little bit more kind of a wow factor as you're going out. That's absolutely great. Yeah, so if you want to actually know more about the cosmetic tattooing side, then please do feel free to contact me. That's absolutely fantastic. You can come for a free consultation in studio. But if not, and you want to use this technique, that's absolutely fine, because it means I won't have lots of ladies coming through my door saying to me, help me, I've overplucked, I don't know what to do. So that's fantastic too. Okay, hope it's been of help. Bye.